I mean, before going, I felt like I knew like quite a lot. But then obviously when you go on the trip and experience all of that, it just makes you feel like you didn't really know anything to begin with. Like all of the stuff that you learn there, it's like fresh information that you've probably never heard of before.
Well, I knew quite a bit actually, because I did history as a GCSE, but all the information I'd known, even talking to Holocaust survivors, it was nothing really, because you don't truly understand the scale of the Holocaust until you go there.
I knew what happened in the Holocaust, but I didn't really know the fine details about what happened in the concentration camps. I didn't know the names of the people involved and all that, but I knew like the atrocities that happened.
I don't really know much, to be honest. It's a new thing for me, but I did know the fact that a lot of Jews went there, but I didn't know there was like other people. I thought it was just Jews who went there, to be honest.
Before I went to Auschwitz, I was very interested in school about World War II and the Holocaust and everything like that. So I did a lot of research when I was younger about it, and then going to the actual place obviously made me learn so much more than what I knew before. But I've always been really interested in the Holocaust.
In terms of me, I sort of already knew what Auschwitz looked like because I've seen it's essentially one of the most, like, in terms of, I don't use the word famous, but it's like the well-known camp. You can look at it on YouTube and it's been in like video games and films and stuff like that. So I sort of knew what it roughly looked like. And obviously it's more like a museum now in terms of actually how the camp was left.
So yeah, I knew obviously through history about it, but I think actually going on the trip brought home the reality of how it affected so many people in the world.
So there's a difference between knowing about the Holocaust and then being in Auschwitz and feeling the Holocaust. So one of the things that was most interesting or kind of most moving was the walk through the gas chamber at Auschwitz 1. That's the bit of the tour that I found the most difficult, really. I found it difficult to comprehend that I was in a room about the same size as our TV studio that 10,000 people had been murdered in. I still find that really difficult to comprehend.
The highlights of the trip were the remnants of the last people to come into Birkenau, because the big piles, like the piles of like hair, clothes, the suitcases, it's like the shoes, like the massive piles. Like that was a highlight for me because it showed like they were there and how many people came on that last train.
The biggest highlight for me was when we got to Birkenau. And we got to go in the watchtower and obviously seeing, like, looking over the whole thing and the size of it, like, really sunk in where we was, and it was really sad.
The highlight of Auschwitz, I'd say, was very interesting. I think everyone should have a chance to go there at some point to see what it was really like.
For me, I think the highlights of the trip were probably seeing Auschwitz and like the actual, how vast it was. It was insane. Like, I thought it would have been in debris. Like, I thought it'd be destroyed. So, yeah, it was quite crazy having a look at like how big the camp was.
I have to say, actually going to the camps themselves, because like it really like showed just like the sheer scale of it. Because like you can't really wrap your head around how many people 6 million is until you truly see it for yourself.
But yeah, something else that stood out would be there's no wildlife there. There's no, obviously us going as visitors, we're obviously living, but in terms of like birds and stuff like that, there's no birds on any of the houses, like rooftop houses or of the fences or anything. I thought that was quite eerie and a bit spooky. But yeah, I thought that was very, very interesting, yeah. So
the highlights of the trip were really the fact that I took 14 students, and when we arranged the trip, I wasn't even worried about the students' behaviour, and I wasn't concerned about this particular group of students because they're a really good group of students. They're mature, they're intelligent, they're fantastic to work with, but I wasn't prepared for just how respectful and how well behaved and what good ambassadors they were for the college while they were on the trip. So for me, it was the group of people that I went with, and also myself, Natalie Senior and Dom Jacks took the students, and those two members of staff were amazing with the students, and also exactly the right people to share that experience with, because they were both inquisitive and respectful and shocked and saddened and all of the things that I felt too, so we could kind of share that together.
Now that the trip's over, it definitely takes at least a day or two for it to sort of settle in your mind what you've actually seen. As many people will say, it feels surreal, especially with the scale of both camps, with Auschwitz I and Birkenau. You don't realise how big and how horrible the camps are until you're there.
I don't think I can really put it into words. I don't think there's a word to describe it. It's just initial, the shock of like, how could a human being like have this much power and be capable of doing something just pure evil. I think it'll be on my mind for quite a long time after this experience.
I think overall, obviously, it's like changed me forever. Like seeing it and actually being there and then it's sinking what happened there. It's kind of just something really hard to get over. I'm glad I went, but obviously it wasn't nice to see, but it was an experience I'll never forget.
I mean, it's opened my eyes quite a bit of like what's happened in the past, because I only knew a bit before, but now after going there and experiencing it, I feel like I can understand more what's happened.
I feel that we are very lucky to be in a position we are in at the moment, because we could have been them if it was over 100 years ago, we could have been in the same position they were in. And so we're very lucky that we have what we have at the moment, and we haven't suffered like they have, because people think it's bad now, some things, but they're not suffering like they were.
I think now I've had time to reflect on the trip. It was a massively kind of emotional, I don't want to use the word amazing because I don't think that's the right word, but I don't really know kind of what word to use for visiting a place like Auschwitz. But for me, it was really educational. I think as a whole, going with college and with students who were very, very respectful, it was a great experience for me. For me personally, I think it brought back, well, it just kind of brought home the reality of people still haven't really learned their lesson. It's still kind of going on in the world, and I don't know, I think some people at some point in their life should go just to kind of be educated on the utter devastation and the realities of what people are capable of, really, I suppose. But yeah, I think overall it was really enlightening for me. And it's made me have a different perspective on, I suppose, people's beliefs, religions. I'm very open-minded anyway, but I just think, who makes those decisions to be able to tell you what you want to believe or what you should believe. It's nobody's decision but your own, really. So, yeah.
It just makes us say that we can't let anything like that happen again, and that we've got to play an active role and not be bystanders, and something as evil as that.